And this is Ken Kraetzer for CBSI in New York City talking business. And I have a chance to chat with the Dean of the Providence College School of Business, and that is Dr. Sylvia Maxfield. And Dr. Maxfield, it's a pleasure to see you here in New York. You've got an extraordinary background from your college days at Cornell and your Ph.D. from Harvard. Tell us a little bit about your career and some of the areas of research, some of the projects that you've worked on.
Thank you so much for this opportunity to chat with you. I am an expert in financial crises, and actually I cut my teeth studying financial crises in Latin America. So a lot of my interest today has to do with what have I learned and gathered from studying financial crises in third world countries that might be relevant to the situation in the U.S. and Europe and potential for financial crises in countries that we thought would never have financial crises.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about the business programs at Providence College. Certainly been a tradition for many years. When I was there, accounting was a very strong major, but now you've got the national accreditation. Tell us a little bit about the business programs at Providence College.
We have 4 majors at the undergraduate. We have about 1,300 kids majoring in marketing, management, finance, or accountancy, and we have about 200 MBAs taking what we call a general MBA. So they're not specializing, but they're getting a general MBA education. Those are all strong programs. Our accountancy kids are fought over by the big 4 accounting firms, and we have a growing number of finance majors. And one of the reasons I'm down here in New York is I'm opening doors and presenting the quality of our graduates to the financial services firms here who hire them as interns and who bring them on in full-time positions as well.
Absolutely, and certainly in a region like Rhode Island. It's had some economic up and downs over the years. What is some of the value of having a strong business school in a regional economy like Rhode Island?
So you asked me earlier about my background, and I talked about financial crises. I tend to see things from a big picture perspective, and I've always studied financial markets and institutions, from the side of society, from the side of politics. I have a very abiding interest in corporate social responsibility, and we talked tonight about what good banking is versus bad banking. And I think all of that adds up to a really strong need for our business school at Providence College to be focused on economic development in the community in which we live and work. An awful lot of our kids at PC come from outside of the state, but I'm very encouraged that we have growing numbers taking internships in Rhode Island and some graduates staying in Rhode Island. We have a student project through which they opened a coffee shop on Douglas Avenue, which is a very underserved neighborhood that is on one flank of the PC campus. So the combination of the service ethic, which adheres in the Dominican tradition, and a business school can be a very powerful combination for trying to do some meaningful work for the community.
And how is business education different from certainly maybe when I was in school? We didn't have personal computers, we didn't have cell phones, we didn't have the internet. There wasn't worldwide communication as there is on an instantaneous basis. How has business education changed and adjusted to some of the new technology?
So I could stand here for 12 hours and talk to you about the future of business education, but the simple thing I say to my faculty is, in the old days and for hundreds of years, you could be the sage on the stage, and your disciplinary expertise gave you the authority and credibility to stand up and lecture. And I tell my faculty now that they're coaches, and it's kind of a big mindset change for somebody who's been teaching for 20 or 30 years, but you really are a coach. So you're a coach because you can assign kids to learn basics through Khan Academy videos, through any number of online resources. And when you're with them face-to-face, which is incredibly valuable to be with kids face-to-face, you've got to be a coach. And that really requires a dramatic change in how we think about education.
Okay. And for those of us who graduated from college almost 30 years ago and finished MBAs maybe even 20 years ago, what are the ways you recommend for people who've been out of school a while to keep up with all that's going on?
Sit down and make a list of things you're interested in that you want to keep up on. Type those search words into Twitter and start reading what comes up, and the people who are interesting to you, follow them and take a look at that Twitter feed every day. And it's a very inexpensive, efficient, effective way of keeping up.
And Dr. Maxfield, what's your favorite aspect of being at Providence College?
Oh, I got to say it's the community. It is a really remarkable place with family values, and it's like no other institution of higher education I can imagine.
Dr. Sylvia Maxfield, the Dean of the Business School at Providence College, our best wishes, and thank you for the chance to chat.
Thank you so much, Ken. Take care.
It's Ken Kraetzer for CBSI Talking Business in New York City.